A gray cat sat in a shelter for 61 days. Two families took him home. Two families brought him back. Everyone said he was incapable of love. Then, a 12-year-old boy sat on a cold floor and didn't move for 11 nights. On night 12, everything changed. A gray cat sat in kennel 7 for 61 days. Two families took him home. Two families brought him back. Everyone said the same thing. He doesn't feel anything. But on day 73, a 12-year-old boy sat on a cold hallway floor and didn't move for 11 nights. What happened on night 12 will change everything you think you know about the cats the world calls impossible to love. His name was Smoke, a British shorthair with a coat the color of a storm cloud and a face that looked like he had reviewed every human on Earth and found them all disappointing. The kind of face shelters hate because it doesn't make people stop, doesn't say, "Take me home." Two families had tried. The first lasted 6 days. He never purrs, he just sits and stares. The second lasted 9. He doesn't cuddle. We don't think he's capable of love. The shelter volunteers called him particular. Smoke had a system. He ate at exactly 7:04 a.m. He sat in the back left corner of his kennel, never the right, and every afternoon at 2, he knocked the water bottle off the intake desk. Always the water bottle, never the pens. Nobody could figure out why. Nobody took him home. Gerald was 68 and had been alone for 14 months, not searching, alone in the heavy way that happens when 41 years of a full house goes completely quiet. His wife, Marlene, had passed the previous October, 4 months from diagnosis to the end. The house still smelled like her lotion by the hallway closet. He had stopped standing there. He cooked dinner, watched the news, went to bed at 10:15. Repeated. Manageable. Gerald had learned manageable was enough. Then Owen arrived for the summer. 12 years old, Gerald's grandson. Quieter than Gerald remembered. He carried his phone like a shield. Claire had said, "The school year was hard. He just needs you." Gerald wasn't sure he was what anyone needed anymore. It was Owen who found the shelter post. He turned the screen toward Gerald without a word. A gray cat in a small kennel, tail wrapped around his feet, staring at the wall. He's been there 61 days. Two families gave him back. Gerald looked at the photo. "We're not cat people," he said. Owen nodded and looked back at his phone. That night, Gerald looked up the shelter address. The volunteer didn't sugarcoat it. "He's knocked over our water bottle 23 times in 2 months, and we only have 1 water bottle. He's also the most intelligent animal I've ever met. Whether that's a selling point depends on who's asking." Owen walked directly to Kennel 7. Smoke was in the back left corner, eyes fixed on the wall. When Owen crouched down, Smoke turned slowly, the way a judge looks at someone who arrived late to their own hearing. Not angry, just noting the fact. "Hi," Owen said. Smoke blinked once, turned back to the wall. Gerald looked at the gray cat who had just dismissed his grandson like a footnote. He thought about the quiet house, the empty chair at the kitchen table, Marlene, who always said the things worth having never come easy. "We'll take him," Gerald said. "Still here but haven't subscribed? That stings. Hit subscribe. You'll want to see where this goes."
The first week was a quiet disaster. Smoke disappeared behind the washing machine within 4 minutes and didn't come out for 2 full days. Gerald left a small plate of food nearby, and by morning, it was always empty. He didn't mention it to Owen, just refilled the plate. On the third night, Owen sat on the hallway floor outside the laundry room with a book in his lap. He didn't call Smoke, didn't reach in, just sat there. He came back the next night and the night after. Gerald passed by, made 2 cups of tea, and left one on the floor beside Owen without a word. Owen picked it up, said nothing. From behind the washing machine, 2 amber eyes watched the steam rise from the cup. 11 nights, same spot, same silence. On day 12, at 6:47 in the morning, Gerald sat at the kitchen table with his newspaper. Smoke walked in from the hallway, no announcement. He moved with the quiet dignity of someone who had made a decision and intended to honor it. He looked at Gerald for a long, still moment. Then he jumped onto Marlene's chair. Not Gerald's chair, Marlene's, the one nobody had sat in since October. He settled, tucked his paws beneath his chest, his tail drifting toward Gerald's coffee cup. Gerald did not reach for him, just turned the page. When Owen came downstairs, his grandfather was asleep at the table. Smoke was curled in Marlene's chair, one large paw resting 6 inches from Gerald's hand. Close, not touching, close. Owen stood in the doorway, then made coffee quietly so Gerald wouldn't wake. Some things deserved to be witnessed without a word. After that, the house shifted. Smoke claimed the left end of the couch and enforced it by staring at whoever sat there until they moved. Every morning at 6:09, he chirped once outside Gerald's door. Gerald started waking at 6:08 to open it first. One night, Owen got a message from a former friend, the kind that lands at 9 p.m. and makes a 12-year-old go very still. He came downstairs and sat on the kitchen floor. Gerald pushed his crossword aside. Smoke walked in, looked at Owen, walked back out. Owen exhaled, even the cat. But Smoke returned carrying his toy, a battered stuffed fish with one eye missing that Owen had bought in week 2. He dropped it at his feet and sat down, not touching him, just present, the way someone stays when they don't have the right words but refuse to leave. Owen picked up the fish, Smoke climbed into his lap and stayed. Later, Gerald said quietly, "He always knows." Smoke had been returned twice, spent 61 days watching families walk past, had every reason not to trust anyone, but he chose them anyway, a grieving old man and a quiet boy and a table that needed to feel full again. His own terms, his own time. Because love doesn't always purr loudly. Sometimes it sits 6 inches from your hand and waits. Sometimes it carries a one-eyed fish to a boy who needed someone to stay. Sometimes it climbs into the chair that's been empty too long and simply decides, not anymore. If you're thinking of adopting, the ones the world calls too cold, too difficult, too much, are often just waiting for someone willing to sit on the floor long enough to be chosen. Is this love or something even deeper? Tell me in the comments.